Hit the deck, yep. Let's just hope it's not too hard. If it is, I'll soften it.
As a middle schooler, I can safely say that this is the funniest thing ever. Sorry it took so long to make this video. I had absolutely no time during Thanksgiving break, and then I got sick, but now I finally can make this video. Recently, I watched all of Stranger Things and reviewed it till season 4. The marketing for season 5 was just so insane that I just had to watch it. They even have Stranger Things cereal. Cereal. When the final release is out, try it. My review is on the top right corner, but to sum it up, I thought it was pretty good. Had some ups, had some downs, but still pretty good. So I was now officially in the hype train of Stranger Things season 5. So instead of spending time with my family on Thanksgiving, I locked myself in the basement and watched the 4 episodes that they released. Like everyone else did. And after finishing watching them, I can confidently say that I really liked it. There are a couple of bad things about it, but there's also a lot of good things. Especially for episode 1, which I'll get to in a second. Alright, it's been a second. Episode 1, The Crawl. Not gonna lie, not a great introduction to the season. First off, they rushed the explanation on what happened between season 4 and 5, which is a 1.5 year jump by the way. Instead of showing what happened during that time jump, we just had Robin just telling the audience what happened. Show don't tell people. We also have this whole Steve and Jonathan rivalry, competing against each other to see who can impress Nancy the most. A lot of people are mad at Steve for doing this, but I'm mostly mad at Jonathan for it. In season 4, it's shown that Steve still has some love for Nancy even after they broke up, but for Jonathan, why him? It feels very out of character for him to do this. It was never shown in the past seasons that he was a competitive person, the opposite actually, so why is he competing with Steve? I swear ever since season 4 he has been going downhill, maybe even from season 3, or maybe from the beginning of the show. A lot of people are complaining about the actors' ages and saying that they are too old to be playing as kids. I honestly don't really care about that. Even I'll say that some of their acting isn't all that bad, but I will say some of the actors are kind of iffy. It's just that the dialogue is a bit questionable, to say the least.
Stop this meathead from reproducing and further infecting the world with his unique brand of idiocy.
Overall, I think this episode was kinda rushed, and I also didn't really think that it fit with the vibe of Stranger Things all that much. It's vague, I know, but I really don't know how to explain it. Although episode 2, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler, was a huge step up and fixed pretty much all the problems I had with episode 1. First, let's talk about Holly. In the past seasons, Holly was just kinda there. She didn't do anything to affect the plot, she was just there. Until season 5 came and decided that she has to be a relevant character now. They even replaced the actor of Holly, who I actually now just realized they are actually twins, which I never knew that. The intro to this episode is probably one of the best intros in probably all of Stranger Things. We first got Ted playing golf in their backyard, Karen just tried to take a bath, while Holly was just being thrown around in her room like a toy. You know, stuff that I can relate to. I still don't really know how to feel about keeping Ted and Karen alive. I feel like if they did kill them off, it would add more suspense to the story and make you more worried for the characters. But because they didn't kill them off, I feel like it was kinda telling the audience that they won't be killing as many of the characters as we may think. Or maybe it might be doing the opposite, I don't know, we just have to wait and see. Back to the positives now. There are some really good duos in this episode. There's Mike and Nancy, Will and Robin were really great together, and Steve and Jonathan actually had a normal conversation. This might be a hot take, but I don't think Hopper's acting is really all that good. Mainly when he starts crying about talking about his daughter, Sarah. It just didn't feel genuine. Other than that, I think him and Eleven are great. The reveal of Mr. Whatsit was actually Henry the whole time was obvious. It's just the way that they revealed it was really good, and it really set up the next episode really well. Episode 3. Oh my gosh, the return of Mr. Clark, yo! In this episode, they have the greatest idea in the world, and it is to drug a whole family. But don't worry, it's for a good cause. Will basically found out that this kid named Derek is actually Vecna's next target. I remember everyone was clowning on this kid because of the way he was promoted. But I guess we all need to apologize to this kid. Erica put some drugs on the pies that made the whole family fall asleep.
Erica, I told you to call 911! And I told you to eat your damn pie.
That scene is terrifying. After they do that, they set up a whole bunch of traps just to put a tracking device on the Demogorgon. Name one character who went more pain than her. This Demogorgon over here. And then Max came out of nowhere with what? Episode 4. This entire episode was amazing, but the last 20 minutes was just absolute cinema. We first see delightful Derek tied in an abandoned barn and rightfully pissed. These people literally kidnapped him and tied him in a random place. Then the Demogorgon came in and Joyce grabbed an axe and started swinging at the thing. I don't blame the demo from backing away, I would have done the same thing. In all seriousness, I think this is probably the first time Will was actually controlling the monsters. It probably would have just thrown Joyce out of the way like what it did to Holly, but it instead just moved backwards before Steve hit it with his car. We also found out where Max has been during the past year and a half. It turns out she was actually stuck inside of chains of memories from Vecna. She had to go through some memories and even through some of her own memories. Memories that Vecna had of her. Until she finally found her way out. And then she just stood there looking at her arm and not running to the portal. So the portal disappeared and now she's stuck in a memory. Yay! Well, she's figuring out a plan with Holly to escape, so I guess we have that. Derek walks into the military like a Chad. He starts a little mini cult collecting all the little children. But then a sink got leaked, so Mike and Will had to stop that. And then this kid saw what was happening and then snitched on them. This kid's reaction is very funny though. And then we get the final 20 minutes. A whole Demogorgon outbreak. The military tried to shoot them down. The truck driving away from the Demogorgons. Lucas with some kids running from the monsters. Like, it was amazing. And we of course can't forget about the huge twist at the end. First off, 8 is here? At first I didn't know who that was until they started playing the flashback with 8 and 11 and then my jaw just dropped to the floor. They're seriously bringing her back. I mean, I'm not mad at the decision, I'm just curious on what they're going to do with her later in the season. And then Vecna came in straight up aura farmed. Did one of the best death scenes in the entire series. Talked to Will for a bit and then just left. Blood just came to show his new redesign and then just dipped. And then we get this super sad but very heartwarming montage in Will's life. And then he got superpowers! It's the power of gay. That was so crazy to see. I wish I would have recorded myself actually watching that scene. This easily shows that this is one of the best episodes in the entire series. But definitely the best episode in the season so far. Season 5 isn't perfect. It was kind of rushed. There wasn't any build up to Holly being a relevant character. Some of the acting in dialogue was pretty weird. And it also just looked a bit worse than the other seasons. But despite this, it still has a lot of great things about it. It did a lot of good setup for later in the season. And there was some great shots in this season. Overall, I really liked Volume 1 and I'm very excited to see what the rest of the season has to offer. What are your thoughts on Season 5? Let me know in the comments.